availability and accessibility of drugs have shot up and teenage drug use has risen since 2000. But have high schools increased their efforts into drug safety since? As it stands today, two similar private high schools in St. Louis, SLUH High School and CBC, take two different approaches when it comes to keeping their students safe from the dangerous world of illicit drugs in 2025. In the CBC handbook, it says students will be required to pass mandatory drug tests once or twice a year. The most common reason for a failed test is due to marijuana, as they don't test for tobacco or alcohol. SLUH High does not have a drug testing policy in place, but is its drug safety education enough to deter students from using dangerous drugs?
If there's a problem that people see, but if you're doing your job well and they hired you and you can get it done well, I don't think you need to have a monthly drug test at all.
I think it's somewhat of a violation of, I guess it depends on what the reasoning for the drug testing would be.
I would feel it would be like something they're not allowed to do, since it would be our personal space and no reason to do it.
In my line of work, I've worked in the medical field my whole life, and I've been drug tested my whole life for my job, because in my profession, you're saving lives, working on patients, so you need people to have a clear mind. So I believe that people should be drug tested before they're hired at a job. I don't think that they need to be drug tested at all times unless there is suspicion of continued drug use during their time of employment. Hi, my name is Carolyn Roth. I'm a registered respiratory therapist, and currently I evaluate patients with brain injuries for specialty placement.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Roth. I'm 46 years old. I have two sons at St. Louis University High School. I work for McBride Homes in St. Louis, doing land development.
Hi, my name is Alex Roth, and I'm a SLUH student.
Hi, my name is Mr. Rob Hill. I am a current SLUH teacher in my fourth year. I teach AP Microeconomics and AP Macroeconomics. It's, having to get a drug test, I think for some people makes them nervous. It's also a hassle. It also kind of questions trust. And I think in a job, when you're working with people, you want to have a connection and a bond, and that trust is there. And this is that would make it awkward.
Well, I guess it'd be a matter of trust, like if I felt like they didn't trust me, or and I had somewhat of a violation of privacy.
I mean, if you drug test someone and they test positive, it's not like they're not going to stop doing it outside of school. It's not going to affect them.
Maybe it's changed, and there's maybe something that we can do to help, because that's the whole point. Is it's not like we want to put anybody in jail here. We want to try to help these people be productive citizens. So I don't think it's a terrible idea, but I think you really need to kind of pick and choose. I don't think it's just everybody.
I would say that they probably respect the educational part of knowing what drugs are and using drugs and the repercussions of doing drugs. And I feel like it gives the boys there at SLUH that these teachers have good faith that we are going to make the right decision, but they are educating us on how serious drugs can affect your life.
I think it depends on what behaviors the student is exhibiting at school.
I'm not a very good disciplinarian, so I'm not really sure what I would do if I did find it. That's a hard question.
I feel like it would make everyone grow farther apart and have little trust in the teachers.
Maybe not give as much effort if they feel so offended by their faculty member. that said they needed to be drug tested. So I definitely think it would carry over into the classroom. I think it could affect student, the teacher, in many different ways. I think you could have a negative outcome.
Kids are people. Don't have to be kids. People are going to find it if they're addicted or if there's some, something that they feel like they need. To really try to kind of like limit drug use in the school. Boy, that's a tough one, and I get it. I think you just have to kind of like see if people can get by doing the work on time, and if there's a problem, then you maybe need to step in and ask. You need to take a drug test, but that's on a case-by-case basis, and there has to be some sort of like proof that this is affecting their performance.
Because they're built on trusting each other and having a brotherhood.
The question of drug testing in high schools is far more than just a policy decision. It's a reflection of how teachers and principals feel about their students' responsibility when it comes to their own future. The issue should challenge people to think about the values of trust, autonomy, and the kind of environment we want to create in our schools. Should schools focus solely on prevention, or is that just not enough to shake the addictiveness of drug use? Should they be addressing the root causes, or simply checking for symptoms? As we move forward, it's crucial that we not only consider the effectiveness of drug testing, but also the message it sends. Should SLUH be testing for drugs, or be testing their students to act as men for others autonomously?